Good morning, students. So today we have to learn about the electric dipole and the electric field due to a dipole. So an electric dipole, let's see that what is the definition of a dipole. An electric dipole consists of two equal and opposite charges, and these charges are separated by a small distance. So whenever two equal and opposite charges, they are separated by a small distance, they form a dipole. Say this is my one charge, it is placed at point A, minus Q charge, and another charge is plus Q, that is placed at point B. This plus Q charge is placed at point B, and these two charges are equal in magnitude. The magnitude of these two charges is Q, but they are opposite in sign. One is plus Q, other one is minus Q. That's why they form a dipole, and they are separated by a very small distance. This distance is 2A. We have taken this distance as 2A. O is the midpoint of this dipole. AB is the dipole, and O is its midpoint. The net charge on the dipole is 0. So when I talk about this system on the whole, this plus Q charge gets cancelled by this minus Q charge, and the net charge of the dipole is 0. We all know when two charges, they are having equal magnitude and opposite sign. When we add them, the net charge comes out to be 0. Note this thing that all the distances will be calculated from the center O of the dipole. So whatever the distances we will be calculating in case of dipole, and the derivations that we will be doing later on in the next slides to come, we will be calculating the distance from the center O of this dipole. So this is our center. So I will be calculating all the distances from the center O. And there comes a quantity that is known as electric dipole moment. So this dipole, it has a quantity which is described by vector P, small p. Small p vector, it gives a quantity that is known as electric dipole moment. The definition of this electric dipole moment, it goes like this, that the product of magnitude of any one charges of the dipole and the distance between them. So either take this charge or this charge. So you need to take the magnitude of either one of the charge of the dipole. The magnitude here is Q, and when you multiply this Q with the dipole length, that is 2A, you get a quantity that is known as electric dipole moment. See, I'm telling you again, the product of magnitude of any one of charges of the dipole and the distance between them. So this distance between the two charges of the dipole is also known as dipole length. It is also known as dipole length. So when you multiply the dipole length with the magnitude of any one charge of the dipole, then you get a quantity that is known as electric dipole moment. So mathematically, I can write P is equal to Q multiplied by 2A. It is not the dot product, it is Q multiplied by 2A. So Q2A, the magnitude of electric dipole moment is one of the charges of the dipole multiplied by the dipole length. And since it is a vector, it must be having some direction. So that direction, by convention, we take that direction from minus Q charge to plus Q charge. So the direction of electric dipole moment is always from minus charge to plus charge. In case of electric field, the direction was from plus charge to minus charge. So it is opposite to that of the electric field. It is the rule that we are actually following. So the direction of electric dipole moment is from minus charge towards the plus charge, and it is known as the direction of the dipole. See this thing? This is the direction of the dipole, from minus charge to plus charge. Always remember. So electric dipole moment has a direction from the negative charge towards the positive charge. Its magnitude is given by product of one of the charges of the dipole and the distance between them. The SI unit for the electric dipole moment is Coulomb meter, because charge is measured in Coulomb and this is measured in meter. All right, this is the SI unit of the electric dipole moment. Please take a note of this thing, that this quantity, the electric dipole moment Q into 2A, we will be using very frequently in the slides to come. So please make a note of this formula and also the direction of the dipole is from minus charge to the plus charge. So this is the direction of the dipole or the direction of the electric dipole moment. The direction of this P vector is from minus charge towards the plus charge, and its magnitude is given by Q into 2a, where 2a is the dipole length that we have taken. If we have taken this length as a, then I should be multiplying this Q with a. But now we have taken it 2a, and I am multiplying it with 2a. All right. Now move towards the next topics. The next topic that we need to cover is the electric field due to an electric dipole. So this was our dipole. So whenever the charges are placed somewhere, they must be having some electric field, and because of this dipole, there must be some electric field at some point. So there can be 2 points on the 2 points of interest in dipole that we are actually interested in. One is the axial point, other one is the equatorial point. So please note, the axial point is the point which lies on the axis of the dipole. The line joining the two charges of the dipole is known as the axis of the dipole. Here AB is the axis. So either the charge will be lying somewhere over here, that is on the axis of this dipole, or somewhere over here towards the negative charge. Either it should be lying, the point charge, if it is lying, the point of interest on which we need to find the electric field, if it is lying towards the negative charge on its axis, it can be lying over here, or towards the positive charge over here. So that is the axial point. Axial point is the point that is lying on the axis of the dipole. That is the charge, the line joining the two charges is known as the axis of the dipole. So if some point is lying on this axis, that is known as axial point. So in first derivation, we'll be finding the electric field due to this dipole on the axial point, and the second part will be finding the electric field at a point which lies on the equatorial point. And equatorial point is the point which lies on the perpendicular bisector of this dipole. So somewhere over here, if I draw a perpendicular bisector above O, then if some point is lying on that perpendicular bisector, then that point is known as equatorial point. So 2 points are there. One is the axial point that is lying on the axis of the dipole, and the other point is the equatorial point that is lying on the perpendicular bisector of the dipole. So please make a note of this thing, that we will be finding the electric field first on the axial point of the dipole and second on the equatorial point of the dipole. So moving further, we are having electric field due to an electric dipole, and the first part is at an axial point. Please do this derivation along with me. In your notebooks, please do it along with me. So let AB is an electric dipole with 2 point charges minus Q and plus Q separated by a small distance 2a, and P be a point along the axial line of the dipole which is at a distance r from the center O of the electric dipole. So let's see this thing. This is my point A, it is my point B, this is my AB is the electric dipole. At point A, minus Q charge is placed. At point B, plus Q charge is placed. So this constitutes my electric dipole, two equal and opposite charges. They are separated by a small distance, and O is its midpoint. O is the midpoint of the dipole. The dipole length is 2a, that I have taken 2a. Now our job is to find the electric field at a point P which is lying on the axis of this dipole. So this point P, it is lying on the axis of this dipole. See, this is the axial line, which is the line that is connecting the two charges of the dipole, and somewhere over here point P is lying on the axis of this dipole towards the positive charge I have taken. This point P can be over here somewhere also. So if it would be here, you can be solving alongwise. That's not an issue. So we have taken it towards the positive charge only, and it is lying on the axial point, axis of the dipole. That's why it is an axial point. The distance of this point P from center O of the dipole is r. It is small r. All right. And we all know that point O is the midpoint. Then OB has to be A, and OA, the length OA has to be A, because the total length of the dipole is 2A. That's why half the length is small a only. So OA is equal to small a, and OB is also equal to small a. So you can see this OB is A and also OA is small I. All right. Now our job is to find the electric field at point P. So the electric field at point P, let E1 be the electric field at point P due to the plus Q charge, and E2 is the electric field at point P due to minus Q charge. So there are two charges present over here. One is plus Q charge, other one is minus Q charge. This plus Q charge will be having an electric field at point P. Likewise, this minus Q charge will also be having an electric field at point P. And we all know this thing, that from a point charge, the electric field is given by kq upon r square, where r is the distance of the point from the charge. All right. So we have taken this thing that E1 is the electric field at point P because of plus Q charge. And E2 is the electric field at point P because of minus Q charge. So the direction of this electric field at point P, the direction of this electric field at point P see this thing, the direction of this electric field at point P because of the presence of plus Q charge will be away from this point P, because this is a plus charge and electric field is always directed away from the plus charge. So E1 is along BP and it is given by KQ upon BP square because the distance between point P and charge is BP. So it is KQ upon BP square along BP. It is the value of E1 and the direction, it looks like this. It is away from this point P because it's a plus charge. And plus charge, the electric field is always moving outside the plus charge. Now, the electric field because of this minus Q charge at point P will also be this KQ upon AP square, because the distance between the charge placed at A and point P is now AP. So AP is the distance, so KQ upon AP square, and this is along BA because it is a negative charge and electric field is always directed towards the negative charge. So it comes out to be this. There are two electric fields. One is moving in this direction, that is along BP, and other one is moving in this direction, that is along BA. So you can easily add them to find the net electric field at point P. So the net electric field, these were the things that we have obtained in the previous slide. So the net electric field at point P can be obtained by doing the vector sum of E1 and E2. And since we know this thing that they are oppositely aligned, we can easily be subtracting them out because the angle between them is 180 degree. So we can easily be subtracting them out. One electric field is in this direction, other was in this direction, having an angle 180, they will be subtracted out. Before that, I need to put the values of this BP and AP, what this distance is. So AP is what? See, A to P is R plus A. Why so? Because this OA is A and O to P is R. So this A to P is R plus A. I'm telling you again, this AP is from A to P. It can be break down into AO plus OP, and AO is your A and OP is your R. So it can be written as R plus A. Now this BP is the distance between the plus Q charge and the point of interest P. The total distance between O to P is R and the distance between O to B is A. So this BP can be written as R minus A. See in the figure, BP, it can be written as this complete R minus this A, OB. So then we'll be getting BP, that is R minus A. So put the values of BP and AP in the equation. We are left with this thing that EA is equal to KQ upon R minus A square. In place of BP, I have written R minus A square. And in place of AP square, I can be writing R plus A square. So E2 can be written as KQ upon R plus A square. I do hope that it is clear to you. I have just put out the values of BP and AP in the equation. So BP is what? R minus A. So I have put R minus A in place of that. And AP is R plus A. So in place of that, I have put R plus A. Now, the net electric field at point P, that is EP, is the vector sum of E1 and E2. And we all know that these two vectors, they are having opposite directions. So we will be just subtracting them out to find the net electric field. So the net electric field, it can be written as like this. So this was the equation that we have obtained in the previous slide. So in place of E1, I can be writing this KQ upon R minus A square. And in place of E2, I can be writing KQ upon R plus A to the power 2 whole square of R plus A. So in place of E1, I have written KQ upon R minus A square. And I have put a minus sign over here. Why so? Because they are in opposite directions. That's why when we do the vector sum, we will be just subtracting them out. And E2 was KQ upon R plus A square. KQ can be taken common. So I can take this KQ common and I am left with 1 upon R minus A square minus of 1 upon R plus A square. All right. And then it can be solved by taking the LCM. So when I take the LCM, it comes out to be R square minus A square to the power 2. A plus B, A minus B. It is given as A square minus B square. And now the A square minus B square and then the square to it. Solving it out. When you will be solving it up, R minus A square gets cancelled out and you are left with R plus A square over here minus of R minus A to the power 2. When you solve it up, you are left with this thing. KQ R plus A square to the square minus R minus A square divided by R square minus A square to the power 2. Now, solve it out. What we need to do is we need to expand this square. So A plus B square is A square plus B square plus 2AB, and A minus B square is what? A square plus B square minus 2AB. So in the next slide, I have done this thing. I have just expanded the squares. So A square plus B square plus 2AB minus sign, then A square plus B square minus 2AB. And divided by the denominator, that was as it is in the previous slide. This R square get cancelled out with this R square. Why so? Because it is plus 1 and it is negative. Because of this minus sign outside the bracket, this becomes negative and it gets cancelled out with this R square. Similarly, this A square get cancelled out with this A square. Because of this minus sign outside the bracket, this becomes minus and it gets cancelled out with this A square. And this minus becomes plus because of the minus sign outside the bracket. And we are left with 4RA. We are left with 4RA in the numerator, and the denominator remains same. EP comes out to be KQ 4RA R square minus A square to the power 2. Now, one very important quantity that I have asked you to note down was the electric dipole moment. And the value of that electric dipole moment was Q into 2A. One of the charges of the dipole multiplied by the dipole length, that is P. So we will be using it over here. Before that, I can do this thing that if this A square, A is very, very less than R, the dipole length is very less because the dipole is the quantity actually which is separated by a very small distance, in which the charges are small by a very small distance. That's why this A is very small in comparison to the point of interest R. If this thing satisfies, then this R square minus A square to the power 2 is approximately equal to R to the power 4, because A becomes 0 in comparison to R square. So I can be writing that. All right. So I have written R to the power 4 in place of this, keeping in mind if this thing satisfies. If A is very, very less than R, then R square minus A square to the power 2 is approximately equal to R to the power 4. So that's why in place of the denominator, I have written R to the power 4. This R gets cancelled out, one R gets cancelled out, and this Q into 2A. See this thing in the numerator, what I have done is I have multiplied this KQ and I have written this 4 as 2 into 2. So you can see this thing. In the numerator, I should be having 4 KQRA, and here also I'm having 2 into 2 is 4 K into QRA. So just I have manipulated it out. In the numerator, what I have done, I'm telling you again, that I have split this 4 as 2 into 2. That is 2 multiplied by 2. Why so? Because I'm needing this quantity Q into 2A. I can be writing this Q into 2A as P. That is the electric dipole moment. All right. This R gets cancelled out with this R, and in the denominator, I am left with R cube. So here I have made you see this thing, that this R gets cancelled out by this R, and in the numerator you are left with 2K, and this Q into 2A I have written it as P. I have written it as P. Why so? Because this is the electric dipole moment, product of one of the charges of the dipole and the dipole length, and the dipole length was 2A. So this Q into 2A was P. I am left with 2Kp R cube, and the direction of this electric field is along BP, because this E1 is greater than E2. So the final or the resultant electric field will be in the direction of E1 only, that is along BP. Now, if I need to write this in vector form, I should be having some vector multiplied by this magnitude. So what I am doing is I'm multiplying it with a unit vector, that is P cap. I'm multiplying this quantity with a unit vector P cap. Why so? Because BP is the direction of your electric dipole moment. Electric dipole moment has a direction from negative charge to positive charge. So minus Q to plus Q is the direction of P. That can be written as P cap. A unit vector in the direction of P is from minus Q to plus Q charge, and this net electric field is also in the direction of BP. That's why I have written it as P cap. This P cap has given it a direction which is in the direction of the electric dipole moment. I have written it over here that as BP is towards the direction of dipole moment P, and it can be written as P cap. So along, in place of this along BP, I have written P cap. So this direction along BP can be specified by using a unit vector P cap, because the direction BP is towards the direction of electric dipole moment. So this is all about the derivation for the electric field due to an electric dipole at an axial point. In this next topic, we need to find the electric field at a point that is on the equatorial plane of the dipole, or I should be saying that that is an equatorial point of the dipole lying on the perpendicular bisector of the dipole. So same we are doing, we are considering a dipole AB which is having charge minus Q and plus Q. It is separated by a distance 2A. O is the midpoint of the dipole, and when O is the midpoint, this OA is A and OB is also A. All right. Now I need to find this thing, that I need to find this thing. Is the PPT visible to you? Say yes or no. Is the PPT visible? All right. So I need to address this thing, that you people have to find the electric dipole at a point which is lying on the perpendicular bisector of this dipole. And when the point is lying on the perpendicular bisector of the dipole, it must be lying somewhere over here. You can see it. So this is the perpendicular bisector of the dipole, and the point P, it is lying at a distance R from center O. Okay. So all the distances will be taken from the center of the dipole. That's why this point P, it is at a distance R from the center of the dipole, and it is lying on the perpendicular bisector of the dipole. Now we need to find the electric field at point P. So at point P, there will be some electric field because of this plus Q charge, and there will be some electric field because of this minus Q charge. Since we know this thing, that this plus Q charge, the electric field because of this plus Q charge will be away from the point P, because electric field is always directed away from the positive charge. So it will look like this. So this is the electric field at point P, that is directed away from the positive charge. And the electric field at point P, because of this negative charge, will be directed towards this negative charge, because the electric field has always been directed towards the negative charge. So you can see it. So this is the electric field. E2 is the electric field because of this charge placed at A, negative charge placed at A at point P. So at point P, we are having two electric fields. One is E1, other one is E2, and the direction of E1 is from B to P, and the direction of E2 is from P to B. I can easily be writing the values of this electric field based on our previous knowledge that electric field is KQ upon R square. So here I have taken this angle, the angle between this P, A and O, the angle PO I have taken as theta. All right. So this E1 can be written as KQ upon BP square. All right. The distance between the point P and the charge placed at B is BP, and KQ upon R square, that is KQ upon BP square. It is along BP. It is along BP. Now, the electric field at point P because of the charge placed at A is KQ upon AP square. Distance between point P and A is AP, and it is along PA. It is towards in this direction. I do hope it is clear. Very good. Then this was the thing that we have obtained in the previous slide. You can see over here that we have obtained it in the previous slide. E1 is equal to KQ upon BP square, and E2 is equal to KQ upon AP square. The direction of E1 is along BP. The direction of E2 is along PA. Now, this BP and AP we need to find. What is this BP? I can easily be using the Pythagoras theorem in triangle POB, and I can be writing it that this BP is equal to A square plus R square under root. All right. So this distance between the point P and the charge placed at B is root of A square plus R square. Similarly, this distance AP is also A square plus R square to the power half, or the root of A square plus R square. So I can be using this value of AP and BP in the equation that we have found for the E1 and E2. So using it, it becomes E1 is equal to KQ upon A square plus R square. In place of this BP, I can be writing this A square plus R square to the root, and the square of this will cancel out this root, and I am left with A square plus R square only. Again, in place of this AP, I can be writing root of A square plus A square plus R square, sorry. And when you take the root of that, this root the square of that, the root get vanished out, and it becomes KQ upon A square plus R square. Now we are having the magnitude of both E1 and E2, that is KQ upon A square plus R square. And the direction is of E1 is along BP, and the direction of E2 is along PA. We need to resolve it out. Since we are not knowing this angle, the angle between E1 and E2, we cannot do the vector sum. So what we can be doing, we will be resolving it up. We will be resolving it up in the horizontal and the vertical components. So this E2, it can be resolved in two components. One is along the horizontal direction, and another one is along the vertical direction. When this angle is theta, PAO is theta, then this angle will also be theta. See this thing? Alternate interior angles. So when this angle is theta, this also becomes theta. Now I am having a vector, so it will be having a cos component along the direction of theta and a sine component to the opposite direction of theta. That is the resolution of vectors. So it can be resolved like this. When this is theta, this also be theta. That can be proved by a simple geometry. I leave up to you that how to prove this thing, that how it is theta. Still, if you are not knowing it, I'll be telling you. All right. So please try to find out when this is theta, this will also be theta. Okay. Now I'm resolving it up. I'm resolving this E2. The meeting is going to stop in a minute, so I'll be just giving you another ID to join it. So please join. All right. I'll be just sharing up with the WhatsApp contacts that I'm having. So please have a look at that and please join the meeting. So I'll be just completing it up. All right. Thank you.